King Charles finds himself at the center of a high-stakes diplomatic balancing act, navigating the complex and volatile relationship between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the leader of the United States. In what has become one of the most delicate moments of his reign, Charles recently welcomed Zelensky to his Sandringham estate following a tense confrontation between the Ukrainian leader and the U.S. president in the White House. The meeting, lasting an hour, underscored the monarch's role as a figure of stability amid growing global tensions. Just a day before, the king extended an extraordinary invitation to the American president, inviting him for a second state visit to the UK, an unprecedented move that immediately thrust him into the middle of an increasingly fraught situation. The timing of these engagements signals Charles's effort to uphold diplomatic decorum while managing the conflicting interests of two world leaders whose relationship is on the brink of collapse. Royal expert Jenny Bond has weighed in on the situation, highlighting the precarious nature of the king's role. She emphasized that, while the British monarch is expected to remain politically neutral, Charles must also act as a skilled diplomat, much like his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Throughout his time as Prince of Wales, Charles occasionally pushed the limits of his position, notably declining invitations to state banquets held in honor of Chinese leaders. However, as king, he now adheres strictly to the directives of the government, even when it means walking a diplomatic tightrope. The meeting with Zelensky carried significant symbolic weight, sending a clear message to both Washington and Kiev. It underscored the UK's commitment to supporting Ukraine while simultaneously ensuring the United States remains engaged. The presence of Zelensky at Sandringham, particularly after his dramatic White House clash, amplified the perception of Charles as a leader capable of fostering relationships even in the face of intense geopolitical disputes. The U.S. president's heated exchange with Zelensky had been widely broadcast, revealing deep frustrations on both sides. The American leader accused Zelensky of recklessly pushing the world toward a global conflict, while his vice president, J.D. Vance, chastised the Ukrainian leader for what they perceived as a lack of gratitude for the extensive military aid provided by Washington. Tensions escalated to the point where Zelensky was reportedly forced to leave the White House, and a crucial agreement regarding the exchange of Ukrainian mineral rights for American weaponry was put on indefinite hold. This diplomatic fallout has led to calls for the UK to reconsider its invitation to the US president, with some critics arguing that hosting him would send the wrong message amid such controversy. However, Bond suggests that Buckingham Palace is unlikely to retract the invitation, as doing so would only further aggravate an already volatile situation. The American leader, known for his long memory and penchant for retaliation, would likely view any such move as a deliberate insult. Given the complexity of these dynamics, Charles will need to exercise every ounce of his diplomatic skill when the U.S. president arrives at Windsor Castle. While the state visit will be a spectacle of grandeur and tradition, it will also serve as a crucial moment in Britain's ongoing efforts to maintain strong ties with both Ukraine and the United States. The king's interactions with Zelensky appeared far more natural and relaxed in comparison, a reflection of the warm relationship the two men have developed over the past 2 years. Ultimately, this moment defines Charles's role as head of state. Regardless of his personal preferences, he is duty-bound to act as Britain's representative, maintaining relationships through both favorable and challenging times. The power of soft diplomacy should not be underestimated, particularly when dealing with a U.S. president who thrives on flattery and symbolic gestures. The carefully orchestrated invitation extended by the British Prime Minister to the American leader was designed to appeal to this very aspect of his personality, ensuring continued cooperation between the two nations. Meanwhile, Zelensky remains focused on securing support for his embattled country, knowing that his ability to maintain Western backing is crucial to Ukraine's survival. His visit to Sandringham was a strategic move, demonstrating that despite his difficulties with Washington, he still enjoys strong alliances elsewhere. The optics of being welcomed by King Charles at such a turbulent moment reinforced the UK's unwavering commitment to Ukraine, even as American patience wears thin. For Charles, this delicate balancing act represents one of the most significant diplomatic challenges of his reign so far. His ability to navigate these tensions without alienating either party will define his effectiveness as a monarch in the modern era. As he prepares to host the U.S. president, he will be acutely aware that every gesture, every remark, and every carefully planned moment will be scrutinized on the global stage. In many ways, the king's role in this saga mirrors the intricate diplomacy his mother mastered during her 7-decade reign. Queen Elizabeth II was often called upon to smooth over political tensions, leveraging her position to maintain Britain's international influence. Now, Charles must do the same, carefully managing relationships while avoiding any misstep that could further inflame an already volatile situation. As the world watches, the British monarch continues to tread carefully, adjusting his approach with each new development. Whether his efforts will ultimately help stabilize the situation remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: this is a defining moment for King Charles, testing his diplomatic acumen like never before.